in the United States, but and mainly among Muslims in the world, but Jews don't do honor killings. When did Jews stop putting adulterers to death?
Stop?
Yeah, practically.
When we stopped doing when we stopped having a Sanhedrin, because it takes a base in
So 2,000 years ago.
When the
Romans destroyed the temple.
Right.
So in some societies, you never have to ask me.
Okay.
In some societies, they'd uncover the woman's breasts in such an ordeal, or make her undergo other humiliations. Here in Japan, they sometimes, if they catch a woman in adultery, they'll go bukake her. But that's not the Jewish way.
Well, and now let's think about this. This is going to be a tremendous humiliation if she has to go do this in public.
Yeah, but she doesn't take her tits out.
No, but she has to go through this whole ordeal.
She takes her hair down.
Yeah, it's like a whole ordeal, you know, in front of all these people.
Right.
She has to drink the water because the husband could force her to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Say, okay, go alleviate yourself. Go prove that you're innocent. Okay, go ahead.
So what does she say when you take it? Oh, you have to clench your sphincter muscle when you take a polygraph test, then release it when you answer it.
And how does she know that?
Well, Ginger knows about tightening and releasing the sphincter muscle.
Okay.
So if you fail this ordeal, the belly distends and the thighs sag. So I've seen some women like that in Pico Robertson.
That's not what happens. It explodes.
Well, in my translation, it says the belly distends and the thighs sag.
It explodes.
I've seen a lot of Orthodox women with saggy thighs and distended bellies.
No. I mean, she explodes. Her belly blows up, and she dies on the spot.
Okay. Or it's a euphemism for abortion.
No, she dies. The thing is going to kill her. Now you understand how big the mitzvah of sota is. Because if she's innocent, if she's really innocent, she can exonerate herself. But if she's guilty, she knows she's guilty, she's going to die.
Do we have any recorded instances of women being found guilty?
No. And let's wait till you want me to wait to get to okay. Think about this. If the Torah, this is like the weirdest thing. If the Torah is true,
mm-hmm.
I mean, this is a huge concept, right? It says that you drink this water and your stomach explodes.
Mm-hmm.
If is the Torah true or not? Right here, if this is true that the water explodes your, then the Torah is obviously true. If you saw someone's stomach explode, then you know the Torah is true.
Yeah.
Right? If they drink the water and they had already done it, and their stomach doesn't explode, then the Torah is not true.
Right.
It's all bullshit. So this is a great test on this. So let's think about this. If a woman, right, says to herself, oh, I don't believe that the Torah is true, my stomach's not going to explode.
Right.
Right? And she knows she's guilty.
Right.
She's going to drink the water.
Right.
Because nothing's going to happen to her.
Right.
Right? Or if she knows she's innocent,
she's going to drink
whether she believes the Torah or not, she's going to drink the water. So I would expect to see a lot of people drinking the water because either they were innocent or they know they're guilty, but they don't believe that the Torah is the truth. And then something happened. The Torah says it never happened.
Right.
Why? Because all the women who did it were afraid that of getting killed, so they would just confess.
Yeah.
They would just confess and be sentenced to death a different way. So it was the kind of a thing, lady. It's a procedure that is supposed to scare you into confessing, right? Or it keeps men, like you said, it keeps men from suspecting their wives.
Yeah.
So it doesn't, even though it's on the books, it never happens because the women either confess if they really did it, and if they were saying, okay, I'm just going to drink the water, and they're calling the guy's bluff, he's going to go, okay, I don't want you going to do that, right? Because he realizes he's wrong. So it's on the books, but it's like never happened.
So the Outscroll commentary makes a point that Marriage is not a convenient means of satisfying passions and material needs. It is a sacred relationship that demands faithfulness and purity between the partners. Which, isn't that what I've always been saying on Torah Talk for a year
always
now?
talk about that.
I always make the point about the spiritual and religious and holy dimensions of marriage. I don't think there's anyone who's spoken more about the importance of purity in marriage than myself.
Right, because you, God forbid you would ever say something like when you're married and your wife starts to sag a little, right? That you would have to start.
You will have to think
about other women. You
yeah.
said that right here on this show. You know how many people you turned off that night? You know how many viewers we lost after that? All these Hollywood starlets were tuning in because they were thinking about becoming Jewish and marrying you, and then they heard that you're going to think about other women on them. Levi, what were you thinking?
I was just telling the truth.
By the way, I'm proud of you. I'm impressed. Last year, ladies and gentlemen, when we got to Bamidbar, you brought out Dr. Milgram's, lessons of the Bible. This Sefer Apikoursis, this heretical thing. And this year, he's actually gone with the art scroll. So let's give it up for Levi. He's moved up.
Thank you very much. So if the woman is found not guilty, the husband's going to be kind of humiliated.
Exactly.
So that discourages husbands from acting like jackasses.
That's why the water is never given out, because nobody wants it. Right? If she's guilty, right? She doesn't want to do it. If she's innocent, he doesn't want her to do it.
So do you think that the more you enjoy this world and the pleasures of this world, even if you do it within Torah bounds, you think you're less spiritual?
Oh, this is what we were alluding to earlier in the show. Judaism is not a religion of abstention. It's not, I'm going to lift myself above the, I'm not going to fall heir to the flesh. I'm going to rise above the physicality.
Right.
The Torah doesn't want us to be Catholic priests.
Right.
It doesn't want us to abstain, like Christian temperance union. Right? It doesn't want us to abstain from drinking alcohol. It doesn't want us to abstain inherently from smoking pot or anything or eating meat. It says no. Torah says it's a big part of Judaism. We want you to eat meat, lots of meat. Kill these animals. These are the animals that you should eat. You should make kiddush every Friday night. Get drunk on Purim. If the law has allowed you to smoke pot in California or wherever or anywhere, yeah.
So if you really enjoy life within Torah bounds, you're not less spiritual.
Moderation is the key. Rambam said. Rambam, who he was the Desmond Levy of the Desmond Ford of Judaism. He said that always go the middle path. Okay, ginger. Okay, she says.
I agree with ginger.
She smoked pot.
Is gross.
Okay, that's because you're a straight.
Do you smoke pot?
I used to 30 years ago.
What about the last 30
I used to smoke every day when I was like 16, 17, 18.
What about the last 20 years?
I haven't touched anything. I haven't touched an alcohol or drug in 28 years.
Why aren't you disgusted by pot smoking? It disgusts me. It turns
Why?
my stomach. I hate it.
Why?
Because you're messing with the brain.
You hate? Oh, she hates the smell of pot?
Yeah, I hate the smell of it too.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't mind the smell of pot.
Well,
She loves red wine. Okay, you can stay, Ginger. That's cool. I'm a big beer fan. I'm a fan of beer. Brew, man. I still love the taste of beer. What are we talking about? Torah does not want you to abstain from these things. It wants you to moderate these things and use them for good purposes.
So I don't know many people more miserable than you. Have you found that being miserable has brought you closer to God?
What?
Well, you're always miserable. You're often miserable.
Where does it say that on? I don't remember seeing
I was just wondering if the more miserable you are, I'm wondering if it makes you closer to God.
I don't know. I have nothing on.
You haven't I'm so close with Hashem because everybody else sucks?
I think the people who end up closest to God, what does it say? There's no atheist in a foxhole, Winston Churchill. I think it's people who are scared to fucking death end up the closest to God. If you really have fear, you're going to do whatever God says.
So at the end of his or her term.
But my problem is I don't have any fear. I really don't fear anything in this world because I'm looking forward to being dead. I really want to be dead. So since I want to be dead, like if somebody comes and I'm going to kill you, it's like if somebody ever stuck me up, came to rob me with